Welcome to episode 7 of Pig-Headed and Well-Read's East of Eden Read-Along. We are covering chapters 25 through 27. I am Ethan Rowley with my co-host, Nate Skidmore. This is a spoiler-free pod, as always, only discussing things that happen up through chapter 27. We release episodes every Tuesday on Apple, Spotify, and our YouTube channel, Pig-Headed and Well-Read. We're covering about 50 pages or so every episode. You can also follow us on other social media, the same handle, at Pig-Headed and Well-Read. If you've been following along, you made it this far, and you have your own insights, comments, jokes, or corrections, you can email us at pigheadedandwellread@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Content warning: due to the nature of East of Eden's story and characters throughout this read-along, we've touched on, and probably will continue to touch on, themes including violence, abuse, suicide, alcoholism, racism, war, death, and sex work. So if these topics are difficult for you, please listen with care. Nate, in this episode, what are you most looking forward to?
I mean, this chapter is what stands out to me is Adam and Kate facing off for the first time since she shot him. I mean, if you've been reading the book, this interaction does not go how you think it would go. So, fun to talk about, fun to read, hopefully fun to listen to.
All right, let's kick it back to our past selves and we'll listen along. Thanks. All right, 3-sentence summary of chapters 25 through 27. Samuel passes away and the funeral is held in Salinas, and Adam visits the funeral and builds up some courage to go confront Kathy. He confronts Kathy and it ends up being a really cathartic experience for him, and he kind of gets the one up on her and she almost panics and crumbles, but he's really happy to have seen her for what she is now. Once he leaves, we are brought into our first story of Aaron and Cal, the twins, and they meet a young girl named Abra, and they kind of fight over her, and Cal turns out to be a boy full of tricks.
Nasty little guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I like that. That was a good recap. Very concise. I have to go. My cat is terrorizing my wife, and she's texting me about it. So let me just go get
Okay.
her. All right.
Pity.
Rock.
All right. Chapter 25. We're skipping forward now a few months. We're at the end of winter. It's March, and point of view is kind of Tom Hamilton. He's working the ranch. His parents are out doing their child vacations, and a boy comes to deliver a telegram, and right away Tom knows what the telegram is going to tell him. And he looks, before he opens the telegram, he kind of like soaks in the ranch a little bit. I think he's kind of trying to get one last look of the ranch as it's his father's before like the real knowledge of his father passing away hits him, before it becomes fact instead of just a hunch. And he reads it, the telegram, and as the reader, we don't get to read what's on the telegram. We just know that he reads it, and he goes back inside to the ranch and starts to prep some of his funeral clothes, and he turns to face the wall, and that's the intro to the chapter. I kind of liked how Sam's death wasn't super grand. I liked that we didn't get to read the personal letter that came to Tom. We knew what it was, Tom knew what it was, and it helps us, maybe the reader, remember him more as the man that he was, as opposed to dying. Like, we don't know if his death was quick, if it was prolonged, but it seemed like Sam knew it was coming. We've been prepping for it for 50 pages, so I'm guessing it was rather quick and uneventful, I think.
Yeah. A couple things here. What do you think the 4 words were? Because it's a 4-word letter.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking...
Your dad is dead.
No, because it said there was a time. That was the only thing. It said name and time were on there.
Okay.
So I'm thinking dad's funeral, like Friday, like noon.
Yeah, because they probably do charge them per letter, per word
Yeah.
on the telegram, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, it depends on who sent it. Like if one of his siblings sent it, it definitely says dad's funeral.
Yeah,
If not, it might say Samuel Hamilton funeral and then the date. I don't know, but date and time. Maybe one of those doesn't count
yeah.
as a word. Anyway,
Dad's
not
funeral, Saturday 7.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was thinking. Not super important, but I was like, what an
It's the little pieces of information that you get that you
interesting
kind of like
thing.
just chew on a little. Yeah.
What an interesting amount of thing of like tidbit of information to not give us.
Hmm.
Just like
Yeah, Steinbeck's been so open about all the
like
members of his family,
he's
and then
he's telling you like their private thoughts, and he's like, you don't need to know what this letter said.
getting into these four letters.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
he's talking about the soil, and then he's like, I can't fit it. I can't fit the contents of the telegram.
yeah.
Um,
In the 600-page novel,
anyway, the other
but
thing is, how old was Samuel? Like,
I
I
feel
guess what
like 70s, 80s. That's
do you
my
think
guess.
so?
80s, because
This
I
book
think
is
that
so
Adam's like
crazy
in
with
his
like
40s now.
the time jumps. Yeah,
Yeah. And when we first started, I was like, I'm going to keep track to really get a good idea of how old all these people are. And then it almost becomes impossible
it's
after like
quite
page
difficult.
150. Okay. Yeah. So go to the funeral now. Zeroed in on Adam, no more Tom. I kind of thought it might be a Tom chapter. It's an Adam chapter for the most part. Adam said he didn't initially want to go to the funeral, but it was like this force compelled him to, drew him to the funeral. I mean, Sam is a noteworthy person in his life, especially in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And then Adam looks out to the mountains in the east after the funeral, and I really like this because when we first opened the novel, Steinbeck said he had a dread of the West and a love for the East, and he thinks that this could be because the day is born in the East and dies in the West, and so I like to think that he's looking in the East metaphorically of trying to remember Sam is alive, as opposed to looking in the West with the death of the day. Who knows?
Hmm.
But he gets caught in a rainstorm and goes into a bar. Savvy bartender upsells him. Hey, you want a couple hot toddies? Make sure you don't catch a cold. And there's a line that says that the liquid, the hot liquor, melts through the cold concealed box where he stored his forbidden thoughts.
Hmm.
Possibly forbidden thoughts like, should I go check on my wife while I'm in town? Because I think Adam wanted to. I think he wanted to use this as an opportunity going into town. I think that's why he. I think he could have totally stayed out in the rain because once you're wet, and gone home. I think he wanted to do this, and the liquor was just some extra courage for him. What do you think? Do you think he was kind of planning this, or did it happen organically
Uh,
throughout the day?
yeah, I think it's probably one of those things where like when he leaves to go to the funeral, he knows he wants to go see her. He doesn't know if he's going to. Like it's not like I'm definitely gonna go see her. It's like a want that you don't know if you have the stomach for. Kind of like if kind of like when you're a kid and you go to an amusement park and you're like, I want to ride the biggest roller coaster, but
Mm,
you know deep down you're a little scared and you don't know if you're gonna make it through the line.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, but he did it. So then yeah, so he's well, I guess spoilers, but go ahead. We already
yeah. You can spoil the part of the book that
it's
we're in.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it kind of your prediction was that Tom was going to kind of coerce him into visiting him, but he just does it on his own.
Yeah, Tom
Yeah.
did almost nothing honestly.
Nope.
Um, he did do it on his own.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting. Like he asked the bartender, and the bartender's like, "You, like, don't do." He's like, "Gross, dude. What's
Yeah.
wrong
You
with
want to
you?"
go? You want to go to Fart and Jenny's?
It was just like it's such like because it is. We learned in the last chapter that it's basically like the BDSM
Hmm.
house, or I don't even know if it's BDSM. We learn later it's like a kink house.
It's a kink house, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like he like goes up to the bartender and he's like, "Where's the nastiest place in town?" And the bartender's like, "Whoa!"
Whoa! I need to cut you off. Those hot toddies really got to you.
like, like imagine you're the bartender and like you know that this terrible gross place exists where people will do anything to you,
Hmm.
and someone comes in and they're like, "Where's that place?" You're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
he's just asking out in the open." Like like people
and
whisper about that.
so he makes it there. It's rainy. It's a very nice, not nice, but interesting scene because we know that it's raining. It's dark and gloomy. It's nighttime. Kate's
Does really set the
formerly
mood. It's like
Faye's.
it's
Yeah,
kind of evil. Yeah.
there's evil here. It seems like kind of a
Uh-huh.
haunted house. It's deserted. There's a lot of descriptions of dark bushes, the dark porch, the woman who receives him at the front. She's wearing all black and no jewelry. So
He's going into
Adam,
the belly of the
Adam's
beast.
family kink house. Yeah. Um, he knows that there's like some sort of resemblance of order here, but he knows that it just feels wrong. But he asks for Kate. He leaves the decision in Kate's court if she wants to receive him or not, and the woman goes to go fetch Kate. And we get a little bit of a scene where Kate is kind of amusing herself with some photos that she's taken. And we don't get an upfront description of the photos until later, but it describes the photos of really high flash photography. You can't see the women's faces in the photos, but you know there's kind of like bodies contorted in
Mm-hmm.
there. And she's checking them out. When you first read this before you knew what they were, what did your mind immediately go to? The
Well,
photos
I
she's
did
looking
kind of
at.
think like, what is the photographing capability in
Hmm.
1912 that this is like?
Yeah,
How
because
good
aren't they
could
the
these
photos
be?
where you have to stay still
you
for
have
super
to
long?
you have to put the hood over your head
Yeah,
and go back there.
that must be
Um,
a premium upsell package. Get your photo
Honestly, I
taken with
didn't.
the whores.
Yeah, we find out later they're kind of blackmail photos, but I didn't really think that because again, like I kind of thought the idea of blackmail photos was newer in the sense that like they had to be
Hmm.
photos you could take quickly while someone, but like just like like with the big with the big giant bulb.
Yeah,
There
I,
that technology must be older than I think. So maybe, but I just was like I kind of breezed past it honestly. I was like, oh, some pictures. Who knows?
yeah. So she's enjoying them, and then when we find their blackmail pictures, I think that she's probably just looking forward to the day where she can send these out. But we get a physical
Mm,
description of Kathy. It says that she no longer has super sharp outline. She's still kind of pretty, but her hands are getting wrinkly. She's getting a little bit chubbier in the cheeks, a little tubbier in the stomach, but still very, very neat, but also wearing full black.
I do think the most significant thing was that like that her hands were wrinkly and gross because like it had always described her hands as these like tiny little baby hands
Hmm.
that like almost aided her in her quest to like be seen as a very innocent like baby that you had to take care of, and
Yeah.
now they're kind of knotted wrinkled hands.
I think you hit it right on the head with like she used her previous youthful physical appearance to advance her goals. And so I think it's just like a little
Hmm.
bit of foreshadowing that she's losing a little bit of her touch, losing a little bit of her abilities to scheme, even though she still has them. They're just not as front and center because of her looks. She relies maybe more on her mental capabilities.
But I think also like part of it is that she doesn't really need the full like I'm a little girl innocence move as much anymore because she is running this whorehouse. We're back with whorehouse all the time.
Hmm.
But she's in charge and she's got blackmail all these important men. So like there's no like I'm just a baby. Like
Yep.
she she could just come and be very forward facing with like this is what's going on. Like there's not as much deception that she's going to
Yeah.
rely on. It's more just power that she wields as someone that has blackmail on probably a lot of very important people. So,
Yeah. Good point.
um, yeah.
So she finds out that Adam is outside, and she kind of gets a little panicky, a little frantic. Right off the bat, it kind of feels like Adam maybe has the upper hand. I don't think she was expecting him at all, and she ultimately receives Adam, but not without giving her a little bit of fallback options, like putting a revolver on her desk with some newspaper over it, having the bodyguard within shouting distance. And man, some time must have passed because I don't think that like 10 years ago, I don't think she thought that Adam could hurt a fly or would be
Mm-hmm.
coming in to kill her. And so this is really taking her for a loop. Why is Adam here? What does he want to do? How did he find out about me? So Adam has the upper hand to start their meeting.
Yeah, yeah. I thought the panickiness of it, where she's like kind of barking at her employee, where she's like, "Take this, don't, never mind, go over there." Like, and then she's
Hmm.
like, "Tell the bodyguard to stand there, or do whatever he wants."
Yeah,
Like
he'll know what to do. Ralph will know what to do. Yeah.
she's kind of panicked, and I was like, this is very out of character, because she was always so dead eyed and calm, and I think it does come from she was the, even though she was evil and scheming, like she was the underdog in her previous setups. Like she was gonna have to overcome being a small woman, and like in this world where she's combating with men, and now Adam's the underdog, where he's coming into her lair, and
Hmm.
she has something to lose.
Yeah.
um and so she can't just like be like, I don't care about anything, like was kind of her past thing, like just to kind of go
Yeah.
limp in moments of panic,
Right.
like she needs to maintain her house. And so like
Yeah.
so now
She
Adam is a
can't
threat.
give
He has the,
somebody who could bring some disorder in for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I thought it was a very, I thought he paints a very good picture of like how she's changed.
Yeah. And when Adam comes in, he just says, "I just wanted to see you. And by seeing you, I can now forget you." And he tells this right to her face. Adam, Adam. This whole chapter had me chanting Adam's name as I was reading this. It's such a great
it
chapter for Adam.
it was like, finally this guy, like wait,
Yeah.
I thought that he was about to get fed into a wood chipper when he walked in there. I was like, oh my gosh, Adam, like
Yeah.
what's gonna happen to you? And like he does very well in
He
this
does
interaction. He does,
incredibly well.
like you don't see it coming at all. Like nothing about what he's done in his whole life would lead you to believe he has the stomach for what he's about to do to
Hmm.
Kathy in this chapter. So
Yeah.
go on with it.
He remains calm the entire time. And Kate, becomes more and more irate the more that she realizes that he's just smiling, that he really can forget her. And she uses a tactic of, well, hey, if you play your cards right, we could get back together. Like she immediately has to resort to trying to pull him back under her wing. Um, just goes right into the manipulator tactic that she tries to do all the time. And she goes to go fetch some drinks. And I really like this part is Kate, all she can see is Adam eyeing her, specifically her chubby ankles, her protruding stomach. She's now starting to get like really insecure. Like I wonder if Adam looks a little bit better than he has.
He aged okay. Like
He's aging like
we
fine wine, and yeah, she's
we
really
just
insecure
decided he's
now.
50.
Yeah,
So yeah.
he
I
could
mean,
have that
I
nice
think,
gray going through the sides of his hair.
yeah, I think 40 to 50 is a date range that is a little bit nicer to the men
Yeah,
than the
yeah,
women. So
yeah. So she could
although
be
I don't think
shocked by his,
Kathy I don't think is as old as he is. So maybe
no,
she's,
but either
but
way,
yeah, but she is
she's feeling his
self-conscious
eyes.
about her ankles.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
So
the ankle, very sensual part of the body at the time.
as we
So
know,
as we know, yeah, have you ever known someone that was into ankles?
ankles, no, at least not.
I had a
They've
friend that
never
was
told me that.
very, I had a friend that told me they were very into ankles.
Wow,
They were like, you know everything you need to know from,
by
from
an
the ankle.
ankle.
From the ankle. I
Okay,
was like, all right, man.
good for you, dude.
He was like, they're so accessible.
What a simple life to be an ankle guy.
like, like imagine being from like the time when all the ankles were hidden, coming out now, and everyone's just got them loose. You're just like,
Yeah. Whoa, they're everywhere.
you're just making cartoon honka honka noises as like people fully clothed walk by.
Just wearing capris.
Big hard eyes coming out, big heart coming out of your.
So one thing I noticed too is I don't think because we know that Kathy's vice is alcohol,
Yeah.
and she is like, let's just go get some drinks for us to maybe
Hmm.
set the mood a little bit. She's putting her vice more readily accessible in front of her, and Adam of course thinks she's probably poisoned them, but he's just smiling at her. Like she brings the
Well,
drinks and he's just smiling, and she's like, "You really think that I would poison you?" and he's just
She can't
smiling
stop
again.
saying it. She can't
Yeah,
stop being like, I didn't poison it, by the way. Like,
yeah. She's so thrown off her game this entire
she's
time. And of course, she drinks the
mhm.
alcohol and then immediately flips a switch on her, and she starts to just kind of verbally assault him. But again, just unfazed and smiling. And Adam asks Kate, "What do you hate? What is it that you hate?" And we get it just laid out for us, crystal clear, Kathy's actual motives and her character. She says that there's no hate in her, but there's contempt. She thinks that she's better than everyone else because everybody else is trying to mask their humanity, mask their faults, mask their evil by putting up fronts that they're actually good. And because she doesn't do that, she thinks she's better than everybody. That's probably why she hates Sam so much, is because she can't stand this inherent goodness that's in Sam, and she thinks that he's faking it.
I did think it was. I did think it was revealing. This is. I had theorized that her motive was something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just. And so actually, I was like, I've been kind of thinking the past few days before I read this, like about what her motives were, and I had theorized something like this, and then he just like then Steinbeck just like wrote it down clear as day, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I'm onto something, and it's like no, like he
We'll
wasn't
chalk
gonna
it up
hide
as
it.
you got a prediction right then. But yeah,
Okay, give me
one
one.
of my qualms with some books or movies is when like the villain is just pure exposition of their motive. But I think here it was acceptable because it was pretty succinct and it makes sense. And I don't know if there's a really great way to show this instead of telling it, that she holds contempt for people that are good and that she only sees the evil and folly in the world. But Adam still smiling, still enjoying this, watching her kind of unravel. And he counters with, "Well, you can't really believe that there's only evil and folly in the world." And Kate's like, "I have proof." And she whips out the photos that she was looking at earlier. She's like, "These are congressmen with families. These are professors. These are ministers. They have these degrading kinks and fetishes with whips. And one likes getting toilet water splashed in his face." And to her, this is all the proof she needs that the world is inherently evil. And she thinks she's making just a really, really good point with these photos. And Adam actually goes, "Are you in danger?" Like they're gonna come after you if they know you have these photos. I don't
They're
know
gonna
if you're
kill
as
you, dog.
secure as you think you are by having these. But Kate's eventual plan is that she'll hold these photos over these people, and then in a few years she wants to take off to go finally get revenge on Mr. Edwards. And when she does that, she'll just drop these photos off to get them sent out to TMZ and E News and the families of the
Yeah,
people.
yeah. I was thinking about this, and I was like, what she's describing here, pretty embarrassing, right? If you're these people,
Yeah,
like get toilet water splashed in your face, like that's gross.
yeah.
And would probably not be good for your career if there were photos of that happening to you floating around. Not evil. uh,
It's not super evil, but yeah,
not evil. Weird for sure, but like I don't know. She was like, "Look at these evil men." And I was like, "That guy's just a bit of a sicko." Like, like,
yeah,
like, poor guy. Like, what happened to him that made him like that? Like,
right.
he's
Yeah,
traumatized.
yeah. I thought it was interesting. They're all kind of people in positions of power: the congressman, the professor, the minister, and it seems like their kink is having people hold power over them. That's kind of what's
Yeah,
going on
I,
here.
I was gonna
So
say congressman, teacher, congressman, professor, minister. That's like the big three
the three that walk
of
into a bar,
sickos.
yeah,
Like, it's like she's like, I've got evidence that a congressman is a little perverted, and it's like, yeah,
hmm yeah.
so she,
So
yeah,
pretty interesting.
it's funny though. She,
But
I
really good
mean,
quote by Adam. Adam sees it immediately. He's like so on the ball here. He immediately can see through it, and he says, "You hate something in them you can't understand. You don't hate their evil. You hate the good in them that you can't get at." And I think that that's true to an extent in all of us. Like maybe if we see some people that just look like they've got it all together or super great or humble, and you're like, I think that they probably actually suck. It's just like
mhm.
we all do it, but Kathy just takes it to the extreme, as so many characters in this novel do. They just take it to the extreme of a normal human feeling, and it just corrupts them.
I think you are right that that's not a wholly uncommon trait, um, of like seeing someone that has plenty of good things about them, um, and probably deep down being jealous of who they are and what they have, and then but then finding out something bad about them, and that makes you feel good, and you're like,
Mm,
I knew they were bad, I knew, like, and it's like, are they bad? Are they bad because there's one bad thing about them, while they spend the
yeah.
rest of their time trying to be good, trying to help people,
Hmm.
like, and
They're
you
pushing
heard,
down the black pond.
it's like,
That's what
and
they're trying to do.
you found one bad thing about them, and it makes you feel like a better person because you're like, I knew he wasn't good.
Yeah,
I knew he wasn't an angel. Like,
I was on to the
so
whole time.
I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like she's explaining these feelings out, but like I don't think it's like you're. I don't think that's like a uniquely evil Kathy thing. Like, I think a lot of
yeah,
people have a little bit of that in them, where it's they like it when people are worse.
yep. Anything that can put you above somebody. But Kate, after all this, I think Adam's clearly winning this fight, and Kate
It's
gets a
just
little dig
crazy.
in.
Again, just
Yeah,
nuts that he does so well.
he's
Like
so
every
good.
time
He's unfazed.
she says things that are so mean, and he just like, it's like Adam felt a warmth inside of him, and I was like, this guy
Yeah,
is like, Adam
he's
was.
loving it.
It just keeps describing him like Adam felt an intense calmness, and you're like, wow, this dude's balling. Like,
Yeah.
so
So yeah, this immediately went into like top three scenes that I can't wait to see in the
oh, for
show.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
The dig that Kate is finally able to get in is, "I'm the mother of your sons, but how do you know you're the father?" And just kind of puts in this little pebble of doubt because she reminds him that they only had sex once ever. And Adam says, "Oh, Charles would never do something like that." And Kate says, "Well, you don't believe it now, but eventually you'll start to wonder. You'll be unsure. Maybe you'll even remember there was that one time that you drank some tea and you had the best sleep of your life. That's when I was actually having sex with your brother." And she's just hysterically evil in some of these things. It's almost cartoony villainous, but
I do
Adam's
like that
response is great.
she almost like forgot. Like, she was about to let this whole thing go without
Yeah,
saying that. And then he just reminds her of the boys. And
yeah,
she's like, "Oh, I did sleep with his brother." Like, there
yep.
we go. Like I cuz when she did that, I was like, "Oh, this is her plan. She's going to hold this over." And it's like,
This is the
"No,
trump
that was
card.
just, she didn't even
Yeah,
care that she did that." Like,
I bet she forgot she had kids, that she had foster
pretty
sons.
much,
So
yeah.
yeah, but Adam's response is pretty great because he says that it wouldn't matter if the boys weren't my own, even if it were true. And then the immediate sentence after is that he knows it's true, that it wouldn't matter. And so this is the ultimate character arc. Because when I first read him saying that out loud to Kathy, I thought, oh, he's just saying that to keep up his facade that he's kept so well for the last 10 minutes with her. But no, deep down, he's like, these are my boys and I love them. So
Yeah.
even though they have some of you in them, I still love them. Doesn't matter.
Oh my
Adam,
gosh, like,
Adam.
who is this
So
guy? Where's he
yeah,
been for the past
so can't wait to
20
see him
years?
in the last 250 pages of this book after this chapter.
He's really
But
turned a corner.
quite the quite the corner. Um, so Adam's getting ready to leave. He's seen all he needs to see, and her last thing is kind of like, "Let's make love right now."
She
And
does.
he rejects her. It kind of reminded me a little bit, keeping the Genesis theme afloat, of like Joseph rejecting Potiphar's wife.
Mhm.
I don't know if Steinbeck was trying to allude to that at all, but he loves his Genesis stories. He's only read Genesis
He
of the
loves Cain and
Bible.
Abel. He's
Loves
like,
Cain and Abel, yeah. So
he's
this is
like,
probably not doing the Joseph. Yeah, calls in Ralph. Ralph punches him, goes to the ground, and she starts yelling, "Give him the boots! Kick him while he's down!" And Ralph says, "There's no fight left in this man. I'm not going to give him the boots." So she doesn't even have control over her own bodyguard at this point. Like the bodyguard has more morality than she does. And Adam gets up, walks out, catches one more glimpse of Kathy's desolate eyes, and then leaves. And that's how the chapter ends. And honestly, if Steinbeck had passed away after writing this chapter and this is all we got of East of Eden unfinished, still would have been a really, really satisfying ending.
It's pretty good, yeah. But yeah, it is funny that the I'm imagining like the bodyguard kind of like cartoonishly ginormous and like
Hmm.
punches him once in the face, and she's like, "Break his face," and he's like, "I don't know, boss." Like,
Yeah. Well, I'm
like
your stereotypical actual softy bodyguard. Yeah. I
he's like
talk like
ginormous.
Eeyore. Yeah.
He's got this. Oh, boss, he's not fighting back. She's
Yeah.
like, "Nah, Ralph." Like, yeah, great, good stuff there. Okay, chapter 26. So Adam's on his way home. He's taking the train. Uh, I thought this was fun. That Steinbeck just kind of takes a moment to like think about the subconscious,
Hmm.
and he calls it like, does he call it dark reasoning or black reasoning? Like, just kind of in a roundabout way describing like when your mind is thinking without you thinking for it, and he describes like going to bed sad, waking up happy, going to bed happy, waking up sad, like, oh, what did your mind do in the darkness, like.
Yeah.
And so like, he's kind of talking about how that happened with Adam, and like his mind just kind of worked everything out, and instead of being sad that his friend Samuel was dead and that his wife is horrible, he just felt great and he felt free.
Yeah.
And
Would you say
so
that's a little too convenient of a plot point that
that
Adams
he's just
worked it
fine.
out? Yeah.
um I mean, if it had happened sooner, maybe it would have been convenient. Like, he moped for like 11 years. Like so
Yeah. The reason
like
that I
if he'd been fixed like that first time Samuel came back and he just worked it out,
that
I
would
would
have
have
seemed
been like,
convenient. Yeah.
that would have been convenient. Like, I remember like I think it was last pod where it was like 11 years passed and Adam was still in a stupor, and I was like, dude, like
Yeah.
you gotta get over this. And now he is. So,
Yeah.
but what were you gonna say? Did you think it was too
So
convenient?
yeah, when I was reading that too, I was like, this kind of feels just like a convenient plot point. But once I thought a little bit about like the last major shift in Adam, which is when he finds out that his dad is dead, and then he chooses to just believe the goodness of his dad, that immediately followed a death, and then this change in character also immediately follows a death in Sam. And so I thought
Mm,
that that seemed less convenient since they both happened immediately after the deaths of some men that were big figures in his life. I think Cyrus was definitely not as positive as of an influence as Samuel was,
yeah,
but just it was a way to maybe keep Samuel's zest for life alive, and he just took that with him and ran. But that's what I
yeah.
thought.
I think it's interesting that you point out that they're both after death. Like later in this chapter, him and Lee are talking, and Lee kind of mentions, I don't even know if it's like a Chinese idea, but like the idea that when people die, like part of them lives in you,
Yeah.
and and Adam's like, I do feel like I have some Samuel Hamilton in me, like, and Lee's like, yeah, you're even talking like him, like.
Hmm.
And so like I don't know if Steinbeck included that little conversation to be like, this is why Adam is like a whole new person now, is because like, Samuel died and Adam's carrying on what he knew about Samuel. And maybe I don't know if you're supposed to think all the way back, but like maybe that's what happened with his dad. Like his dad finally died, and then because that felt like an almost out of character thing for Adam to just be like, just be okay. Like
Yeah.
he seemed like someone who was pretty sensitive and impacted by everything that happened to him. And then his dad dies, and he's just like, you know what? Everything's fine.
Yep.
So maybe just as people die, Adam is just, um, picking up the pieces and carrying on. Yeah, I did get a little sad because I was like, who would have loved to see Adam like this? Sam. Like
Totally.
Samuel would have been like, this is great. Was like the
Yeah.
whole time Samuel knew Adam. Adam was like a shell. So,
Yeah.
um, but anyway, so Adam gets off the train and he goes to visit Will, who's our business brother.
Hmm.
It says he's getting a little heavy, as successful people are wont to do. Um, and I just think it's interesting, like Steinbeck as the narrator just throws barbs at people. Like how could you possibly know that? Where it's like Will thought he was mourning, but he wasn't. And I was like, what do you mean? Like,
Hmm.
but I think he's, and then also like there's a part where um Adam's like, I can't even believe your dad's dead. He seems so alive, and like maybe he's more alive now than before. And Will goes, so true. And it's like Will did not think that was true. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe Steinbeck just like really didn't like Uncle Will, or
could have
he's
been.
like this guy. Will sells cars, and Adam's like, I'm gonna buy a car. Um, and I do think it's fitting that the process of buying a car is included in this book about the fight between good and evil. Because that's just, I think if you've ever bought a car from a dealership, the way Adam's doing right now, I do think you get a sense for the evilness there is in that profession.
Hmm.
Um, and Will tries to get him like hooked on a high interest payment plan, and Adam's like, won't that make it more expensive? And
Yeah,
and Will's
I
like,
got
oh,
cash, dog.
I guess like, um, so yeah,
People
just
like to do it that way. Yeah,
people that sell cars are evil. I think is what Steinbeck wanted our takeaway to be.
yeah. That's the
Um,
main. That's actually the main moral
the
of the
main point
story
of the
here.
book.
Yeah.
Yes, car dealerships bad. Then eventually Adam gets home. He talks to Lee. The boys are out, and um, he tells Lee, and Lee's catching on. He's like kind of side eyeing him, just like, "What's your deal? Like you're way too happy." And like,
You're chipper today.
yeah, and Adam like gets in the shower and like washes off, gets all super clean. Like this is the
He's
first time
probably singing a song.
yeah, yeah. This is like the first one we've like had his movements described. Like everything he's done, it's been like an Adam was cloaked in sorrow, and it's like now it's like Adam's putting on a blue shirt.
Yep.
Like he's like
There's
alive
some color
again.
back in the world. Yeah. Doesn't he even
Yeah,
say that too? That he's starting to notice things in the
yeah.
house, and it seems like there's more
He
color in the
sees
house.
he sees like worn out carpet, and he sees like stains on the floor, and he's noticing that the curtains are worn out,
Hmm.
and it's
It's
like all
it's
for the
like
first time.
it's like the end of It's a Wonderful Life when he comes back after
I
having that whole experience of where
mm-hmm.
he gets to see the world as if he hadn't been born, and he comes back and he's like, "Oh, I'm so happy that my banister's broken. Oh, it's so nice that my kid keeps playing the same horrible Christmas song over and over. I love it. I love it all."
Yeah, yeah, something like that. And he notices like that Lee's old. Like he's like, hey.
Yay!
So yeah, I think he had just been kind of like wallowing in self pity for so long. Like he couldn't even think about Lee as like a person. Like
Hmm.
um. Anyway, then him and Lee have like a conversation. He tells him about they had that conversation I mentioned earlier about people dying. Um, and then he's like, I'm free, Lee. And Lee's like, well, if you're free, can I be free? And it's basically, I want to go live on my own and open my bookstore and maybe have a family. Although he says he's a little old for that. Yeah, he wants to go live in San Francisco and open his bookstore in Chinatown. And Adam's kind of like shocked. He's kind of like, he kind of doesn't want to let him go, but he's like, of course you can go. He's like, I'll even give you some money. Like, and Lee's like, no, no, thank you. Um,
I've been
but
skimming
yeah,
off the top. No, he hasn't been doing that.
he's like, I've had control of your finances for years. I've already bought the bookstore. Um, and then he's like, can you wait a little while? And he's like, oh, don't ask me to wait a little while. Like, I'll just end up staying. He's like, the worst thing you could do is need me.
Hmm.
And that kind of, because as Lee was talking about his ambition to open the store, I kind of had the thought of like, well, why didn't he just leave? Like, he didn't have to stay. And then he kind of answers that question right before this chapter ends, where he talks about how like, if someone like, the worst thing you can do is need me. Like if you need me, I'm
Yeah,
gonna be there. And so
that's the worst fate of all to a lonely man is being needed.
yeah, yeah, and he kind of phrases it like a little negative, but I just think in a book where we're learning about good versus evil, and evil I feel like is so frequently connected to selfishness. Like Lee's just an example of the good, where it's selflessness, where it's, no reason to really like Adam, but like
Yeah.
just because he knows Adam needs him, he sticks around. And so,
Yeah, and
and that's the
and
end
I
of
think in
26.
addition to like the good and evil, I think it's also starting to come to its full moral around this time in the book of it's good and evil, but it's also the extremes of doing something, the extremes of only seeing the good, like how Adam only saw the good in Kathy and in Cyrus, or the extremes of only seeing the bad, like Kate only chooses to see the bad in people. With Lee, he can only see serving people, and it's almost, I wouldn't say it's self-sabotage, but it's like this fear-based avoidance. Like, I don't want to, I'm too scared to be successful, I'm too scared to be out on my own, I'm too scared to not be needed. He over identifies with a sense of duty and purpose, and I think it
Mm-hmm.
is just maybe another little bit of warning by Steinbeck of,
So a bit of a warning there. So
yeah,
maybe it is
don't
just about
over
that.
identify with a sense of duty, with only being needed. You got to look out for numero uno.
I did kind of before I heard that part about him being needed, where I was thinking about why didn't he leave, I did kind of think like I would never love a job like like you could
Yeah.
never make me do that. Although he, there's a certain peace of mind that comes with like I have a job where I'll never get fired, and he really had that with Adam.
Hmm.
Right? Like was it like so? There's like some security he could live with, but I'm kind of distracting from your point. Just thinking about employment.
Yeah.
Like, would you stay at a job like Lee's, where it's like probably as stable as you could ever ask for?
I think if
Um,
I was Lee, I would. If I was
hmm
myself, I would not.
yeah.
But one question for you is: it feels like the chapter ends really abruptly. It's just Adam got up quickly and knocked over his cup and went outside and left Lee sitting there. Of like almost immediately after, just strings of dialogue. And I don't know why it ended so abruptly. It just felt like Adam was just excited to go get on with the zest for life. Maybe he was sad. But one thing that I noted here was Adam knocking over his cup reminded me
hmm
of the saying, "My cup runneth over." When
Mm.
you're so happy and full of life, that that's the cup falling. Because I just think that anything that Steinbeck puts in the book, there's got to be some meaning or purpose behind it. So
I gotta say, I did not hone in on that sentence. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, perhaps,
perhaps maybe just sometimes
perhaps.
conversations end abruptly. That's what
Sometimes
happens.
it's
Yeah.
happened. All right, chapter 27.
27. Here we go. Yeah, so this is the first chapter, really, of the twins, Cal and Aaron. And it opens up with a scene of them hunting rabbits. And they catch a rabbit. And off the bat, it seems like Aaron shot it, but Cal thinks that it was with his own arrow. And with this just small story of who shot the rabbit, immediately the balance of power starts to tilt in favor of Cal because he's the one who really cares about credit for the rabbit, either taking it or giving the credit to Aaron. He wants to be the giver of credit or the taker of credit. And Aaron reminds Cal as they're heading home that they should get home because Cal's like, oh, we should stay outside and camp outside. It'll be fun. And Aaron says, but you were shivering this morning with how cold it was. And Cal immediately barks back, I wasn't cold. I was just making fun of you for shivering. So Cal doesn't want to be seen as weak at all. He likes picking fights. He starts to call Aaron out, saying, "Are you calling me a liar?" And Aaron's immediate response is, "I don't want to fight," which makes you think that Cal is always picking fights. Aaron just knows how to shut it down and say, "I'm not trying to fight. Please stop picking on me. I don't really care who gets credit for this rabbit. Let's just move on and get over this." But it's Cal. It's his first instinct is fight, get power, make credit, give credit. So what'd you think of the rabbit story to start us off? First real intro of the kids.
I was pretty confused. It made me feel good later when it said that Aaron was confused because I was like, me too, brother. My theory was that it was mostly like that the reason Cal, like I thought Cal shot it and wanted to give, did I call him Adam? Wanted to give Aaron credit was because he wanted Aaron to carry the rabbit home. That
I
was
can see
that
that
was
too.
my theory, because he's like, we can tell Dad that you shot it. You carry it home. I'm like, kind of like, just I think just to show us how manipulative Cal is, where it's like he's weighed how much he cares about getting credit for shooting the rabbit and how much he cares about not carrying a bloody rabbit home, and he's like, I would much rather not carry the bloody rabbit home than get credit for shooting the rabbit.
Yeah,
But as
it's
soon as you're
interesting.
reading this, you are kind of like, oh no, Cal,
Yeah,
like, oh, you're a nasty little boy, like
yeah,
you're being so vile right now, dude.
and
Anyway.
it feels more like Aaron is his younger brother by 3 or 4 years than them being the same age with
Mm-hmm.
the way he's treating him. So Aaron's described by Steinbeck as having this angelic innocence, and Cal is described as looking like Adam, which I thought was interesting. Immediately after Kathy saying, "Are you sure these boys are yours?" Cal looks like Adam, even though he's a little bit darker and acts like Kathy. It seems like,
Mm-hmm.
but he does also have dainty hands, like Kathy
He
has.
does
So
have the
some
dainty
of the traits are
hands.
getting passed down. If I had dainty hands, I kind of do have daintier hands, but
You think so?
it'd be tough. They're,
I've never.
my dad calls them piano playing hands, and that's basically calling them dainty hands.
That's a tough backhanded compliment. He's
Yeah.
like, wow, you, you
So
look like you could play the keys, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
you think I would die on an oil rig?
I I tickle the ivories. No, I
Yeah.
think I've maybe told you this once, but when I was in Mexico, I had a group of like construction workers come up to me and say and like demand that I show them my hands,
Mm.
and they took a look at them and were like, "You've never worked a day in your life," and they like spat on the ground. I was like, "So I'm sorry, sir. I'm
Oh yeah,
19."
my email job, like, these are not calloused hands. What I'm thinking when Steinbeck says dainty, I'm thinking like short stubby fingers,
Mm,
like they would come up to, like, like tiny fingers.
yeah.
No, anyway,
Anyways, fun tangent.
I think we're innocent on having Kathy Ames' hands. We
Yeah,
don't have it.
nice. Can sleep good tonight.
Yeah. Anyway, but yes,
Anyway,
the mixing of the traits. So it's like Aaron looks like Kathy. He's got the blonde hair and the blue eyes.
but
And
he has the
Cal
innocence of like a viewpoint of the world as
is
Adam.
more similar countenance to Adam. And then Cal looks like Adam, acts like Kathy.
Hmm.
But Charles is in there somewhere. I don't know who.
Yeah, so these descriptions of the boys, does it make you think that they're actually Charles' kids?
I'm sticking with one and one. Like,
Okay.
she, whatever one in a million chance of having twins from different fathers. One
Happened.
is Adam's and one is Charles's.
Okay.
Um, but I think Charles is in one of them somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know where that would be.
We still have many
It also
pages
was
to
not
see.
lost on me that their initials are C and A. Also,
Hmm.
like Charles and Adam and Cain and Abel. Like,
Yeah.
Steinbeck, really, he's locked in. He's like,
It's almost feeling
he's
like
like,
overkill at this point.
and there's gonna be brothers,
Yeah.
and the editor's like, you've got to give them different initials. And he's like, C and A.
It's either this or I call them the Knables. Yeah.
He's like, this is my third Cain and Abel allegory. You're like,
Hmm.
no. Like, anyway, so yeah,
But
but
so
the hearing what they looked like was interesting.
very interesting. Yeah. So they're walking along with the rabbit, heading back to the ranch, and Cal changes the subject and goes, "Hey, you want to hear a secret, Aaron?
Mm.
The secret is Adam lied about mom being dead and in heaven because he overheard some men saying that she ran away. And so points to you, Nate, because last week you said that was his secret when he randomly said, I have a secret.
Yeah.
So his plan is to go find her and bring her back home. Aw,
Oh,
so
we
sweet.
both think the same place. Like, oh, that's not going to
Oh,
happen.
you
Oh
don't know your
no,
mama.
your
So now
mom's
it's kind of like a race
evil.
against time. Will will Cal be able to find Kathy before Kathy leaves to go find Mr. Edwards?
I do think it's interesting, like this, because like this is the first we're seeing these boys, and it's like super clear that Cal kind of has that Kathy like ability to like hone in on people's weaknesses and enjoy it.
Yep.
In like the moment he realizes he's found something that he can bother his twin with, he's like he's like perfect. Let me file that away for later. Like I've got a
Hmm.
tool at my disposal. Um, and it's interesting because the Steinbeck gives us more of Cal's thought process behind what he's thinking. Like it's like Cal thought this, Cal saw this, and like with Kathy, it's a little bit more like we're blocked out of what's going on in her mind, and
Yeah.
all we get from Steinbeck are like her actions. Like we don't. It's like he couldn't even comprehend what was in her mind, really.
Hmm.
Like as much as like Cal, we do get to see kind of his thought process of like, oh, like Aaron's getting a little upset. He's gonna cry. Like, and if he starts
Yeah.
crying, he might hit me. Like, I better stop. Like,
Right.
so, so we get a little peek behind the curtain at what this manipulating is like.
Good point. Really good point there. So they make their way back to the house, and there's visitors, and they hear a woman's voice, and Aaron thinks, "Is it mom?" No, wait, no, she's dead. She's dead. It's so heartbreaking.
It's nice that Steinbeck includes these because it is like a reminder that they're 11. Like 11
Yeah,
year old boys are mean and sweet and innocent and gross, and so
especially ones that
like,
haven't had moms. Yeah,
mm-hmm. And so you're kind of seeing the range of emotions of like they're fighting with each other, they're lying to each other,
but they
and
also
like
want their mama home.
they want their
Yeah,
mom. Like Cal's like he's so enjoying lording the fact that their mom ran away over Aaron. And like his grand plan is like, I'm gonna go find my mommy.
yeah,
oh, like you're
yeah.
so bad.
Sick, sick plan, dog. Yeah,
Sick plan. I'm gonna go bring mom home. Like
but the visitors turn out to be the Bacon family. Um, Mom, dad, and daughter. They just got caught in the rain. And I like how it just lets us know a little bit. I'll go over it briefly, but that they have no experience with women, girls, or even older women. So like they don't know how to like greet them. They greet the mom only, but at least Aaron does because he has the privilege of going first to greet them. Greets the mom first, and then forgets to greet Abra. And she goes, "Will you say how do to my daughter?" And he goes, gives her like the limp fish handshake, and Cal just thinks it's
mm-hmm.
so funny. But he has the benefit of going second, so he sees that
Mm-hmm.
don't do that, and now give an actual. I'll present myself truly to you. But
Yeah.
they kind of send the children outside to go play in the rain. The mom thinks that the rain's over, but it's actually not. But we get a little bit of the Bacon's in with Adam at the house, and Mr. Bacon is saying, "Why don't you go into town, rent your place out, get the boys educated?" It becomes clear that Adam has not thought about his boys getting an education and really just wants Mr. Bacon to mind his own business, but he kind of humors them a little bit. And as Mr. Bacon's probably talking about how much money you can get for renting out your place and all the great educators in Salinas, Adam starts to drift into a haze of, oh, remember when Dad would force Charles and me to do military drills? Maybe that's why he didn't want to force education on his boys because he's remembering that Cyrus kind of forced the militaristic education on him. Then out of the blue, he's like, I should write my brother. Haven't written my brother in 10 years. What were you going to say?
I was just gonna say I think some of it was a little bit like the harshness of him being like of him at least thinking like you should mind your business to these people. Like I think there's a little bit of shame from the fact that like they're like they're asking him questions about his sons, and he kind of has to face the reality that like I was a pretty absent father for about 11 for the past 11 years. Like I was not on the ball. And so
Yeah.
um and he's a new man now, but definitely probably some embarrassment about definitely probably what a sentence. um
Definitely probably
probably
some embarrassment.
probably some embarrassment about how he's parented his boys so far,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe he'll make up for. I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of what I
Yeah.
was that was interesting.
Yeah. So Nate, if he wants to write his brother, do you think Charles is coming back? I guess we'll leave that for the predictions.
Oh
We'll
no.
let you sit on that because you've gone back and forth.
Oh, he got me. It's like as soon as I read that, I was like, "You dirty dog, Stein, Mr.
Yeah.
Stein." Like I at the end of each pod predicted the return of Charles, and he
Mm,
never came. And then as soon as I'm like, you know what, it's over. Like he's almost certainly coming back now. Like there's no way he's not. I would
hmm
I wouldn't be surprised if he's in chapter 28. Like the other thing I thought was interesting, and I'll weave this into my predictions, but like that Lee kind of picks up that they're after something because he
mm,
feeds them kind of a gross tea, and they're like, and they like pay him a bunch of compliments. They're like, "Thank you so much," like, and he's kind of like, "Oh, these people want something," and he
mm.
tries to signal Adam, but like Adam is like on the moon thinking about Charles, like not even paying attention. So,
Oh yeah. I didn't
um,
even really pick up that Lee was doing that. All I was picking up was that maybe Lee or Adam was noticing that the Bacons were kind of like looking at each other to, oh, we're gonna debrief in the car and gossip about him not giving his sons an education, or this guy's lazy but rich. We're gonna talk about this. But I
oh,
see your point too.
that was the other part too, where like I did just really like that sentence where Adam like needs an excuse for why his land is so terrible, and he basically just he kind of lies. It's kind of the truth, but he lies and he's like, oh, like my dad left me with too much money, and I don't know how to work.
Hmm
Um, and he kind of inside his own mind is talking to himself, kind of like, yeah, that'll work, like because they'll forgive me for being incompetent because I'm rich. And he's like like only poor people are actually lazy, and
hmm
only poor people are ignorant. So like since I'm rich, like it won't be held against me that I'm telling them I'm a lazy man.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Based Steinbeck, he's just like
hmm He does.
our
Yeah.
woke king
Our woke
Steinbeck.
king,
Our woke king.
he gets deep in the heart of the working class, but also
Yeah,
still
he's in
understands
there.
the 1%. Yeah.
Yeah, Marxist king John Steinbeck. He's blue collar.
He
But yeah.
is.
Anyway, you were about to go to the kids outside,
Yeah.
which is a very
So,
interesting part of the chapter.
yeah, it is. It's they're outside and Abra is kind of the alpha with these two boys. She's a year younger than them, but she's got quite the confidence about her. She's teasing them a bit, and Cal and Aaron just have no clue to react. And Steinbeck, his little aside is the inexorable logic of women is overwhelming, especially when it is wrong. Just a fun little comment by Steinbeck of these boys are
Yeah.
11, it's going to be like this for forever. But Aaron's like, well, we should just go play in the abandoned Sanchez house. And it's this empty, mildewy place, surely the home of dreams and fantasies and horsing around with these two boys, a little sanctuary for them. But Abra's like, I'm from Salinas. I don't hang out in abandoned shacks. So, quite the funny line. But I thought that it was because initially it almost starts to feel like Abra could be a mini version of Kathy. Like, oh, she can kind of manipulate. She got all this confidence. She acts older than she is. But the line that to me separates Abra from Kathy, and I think it's intentional, is while she knew the weaknesses of men, she still liked them.
Mhm.
Kathy's the exact opposite. She knows them, exploits them, hates them. So Abra, I don't think will turn out to be a mini Kathy based on this line alone.
Yeah, yeah. I also was kind of like, whoa, are we gonna like have another psycho here? Like, because she was
Yeah.
very manipulative and like talking down to him and kind of had him in the palm of her hand. And then I think from that same line, I think what you're supposed to understand is like what Aber's doing is just level one, entry level manipulation of like
hmm
I'm a pretty little girl and these boys like me and
Yep.
I can use that to get my way, and like because of Kathy, like the as the reader you're kind of primed that like anyone who like takes advantage of someone else or like yeah it is evil, but it's like nope, this is pretty normal human behavior. Like girls kind of mess with boys if they know that they like them
hmm
to get what they want, and that's what she's doing. And then we see that with what Cal does next, where it's like this is real. This is
Yeah,
real.
this
This
is
is
real
this is,
manipulation,
get every
jerkiness.
yeah everyone's a master manipulator until a real psycho shows up, and that's
Yep. Yeah,
and
it's
she
just
kind of
this constant contrast to just really build up what Cal does at the end is really mean. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, and I don't know if you're gonna get to this, but like Cal is just as like under her spell at first.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
he's really struggling with her, and then she kind of makes it clear that she likes Adam. Um, and then that kind of like activates with like not even consciously, it just like activates like his inner demon, where he's like
Yeah.
suddenly he's not like a little lovesick puppy who's like, oh, I want this girl to like now he's like, I'm gonna break her and I'm gonna
Yeah.
ruin this. Like he
Yeah. It
goes he
says
goes
that
into attack mode.
he's like he's conditioned himself to crave more this feeling of power more than the feeling that he so desperately wants, which is to have people love him as much as they love Aaron. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that this is his first interaction with a girl. He kind of forgets that that's what he's conditioned himself to want, and then she immediately is more interested in Aaron, and just comes right back up. But
Yeah.
Cal is like, we can give you our rabbit, and Aaron's like, my rabbit, and now Aaron actually wants the credit. Whereas before he didn't care when it was just going to be their
Because he's
dad
11 and he's
because
like,
he's 11. And Aaron was like, what would I do with a rabbit? I'm a posh girl from Salinas. And Aaron's like, well, there's many
she,
things you could do. You could
she
hold a
keeps
funeral
talking
for
about
him. You could
Salinas
eat him. Yeah,
like it's the
like
metro
the
hub
big
of the
city.
world, like
Yeah,
the big
I'm from
city,
Salinas.
little dust town. She's like, I'm from Salinas. Have you heard?
Yeah. And so she kind of rejects it a little bit, and she can see some tears welling up in Aaron's eyes. And then that's when she starts to feel some love towards him. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
actually says. That's where she sees it. So she accepts the rabbit only if they'll put it in a box.
That's where I fully ruled out her, because her being anything like Kathy, where it's like, oh, you're just a
Yep.
normal girl. Like you're just like like you're not a master manipulator. Like you're just an 11-year-old girl. Like
Hmm. Yeah, she's actually
you know,
feeling love. Yeah,
she feels
Kathy
love.
never felt love.
Yeah.
So, but Abra eventually finds out that the boys don't have a mom. And
Mm-hmm.
another great line of hers is, "Little motherless orphans, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
your mother. I'll hold you and rock you and tell you stories." And Callow is super macho. We're too big to sit on your lap and have you tell us stories. But Aaron's just, oh, I would. The girl that I love right now would also take the place of my mom for me. Oh, this is the perfect woman. So he races off to go prep the rabbit. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm infatuated. Races off to go prep the rabbit, and then it's just Abra and Cal, and they're having a stare down. And
Mm-hmm.
it says that Abra is normally pretty good at winning these stare downs, but Cal is winning. And Cal, like you were saying, wants to punish Abra for liking Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a good little line here also that says Aaron was content to be a part of the world, but Cal must change it. Which another good little tidbit into why he works the way he does, in addition to always feeling second fiddle to
Mm-hmm.
Aaron. But he concocts a plan to distance Abra, or to make Abra distance herself from Aaron. He's not going to do the distancing himself. He puts it in motion so that Abra will distance herself from Aaron on her own. And he says, yeah, he's going to go get the rabbit, but he's actually probably having to go catch some other thing to put in the box for you. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
alluding to some dangerous animal that is going to be in the box, something gross. And immediately Abra's starting to get a little weird, and then he goes for the throat and says, don't look at Aaron's back. Lee the Chinaman hits him, and we
Oh
can't tell
yeah.
anybody. And it's just, oh, so she thinks that Aaron is psychologically tormented and physically abused. Like, this is not a boy I want to associate with, since I'm from Salinas after all. These are King City ranch people.
She is from Salinas, so
Yeah. And
understandable.
it's just, it was really hard because Lee is like the angel of the story, and for him to lie about Lee like that
I
is
know.
just
I made me want to fight this
crazy.
child. I was like,
It's
I'm gonna, I'm gonna,
crazy.
I'm gonna beat up Cal Trask.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah. And I think the thing that solidifies
I was like,
his
this better not
lie.
end up hurting Lee. Like Lee better not
Yeah,
end up in trouble because of
yeah,
this.
yeah. And so what he gets to solidify his lie is he knows that Aaron is going to present the box and say, "Don't open until you get home." And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what Aaron does. And so that makes Abra think that everything else Cal said is true. If he knows that that's how Aaron's going to say when he presents the box, everything else must be true about it not being a rabbit in there. And so gives her the rabbit, says, "Don't open until you get home." And as they see them driving off, Abra flings the box out of the car within eyesight. And
Mm-hmm.
Aaron's devastated because not only was there a rabbit in there that he'd spent time tying up and making pretty, he put a letter in there asking Abra to marry him.
Oh.
So he lost his new mom and his wife all at once. But
That's
just
tough.
such
Rough day.
a sad ending. And I know that there was the main offering here because we keep seeing the Cain and Abel and offering and who's accepting what offering. But you were just talking about it earlier, where I think the main offering is Cal and Aaron both offered themselves to Abra, and Abra rejected Cal and took Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the end of
Yeah.
the reading.
Yeah, I think last little note on that before we move on, but like I do think it's interesting. Everything is interesting to me.
It's an
That
interesting book.
we're gonna put a shot collar on me every time I say the word interesting. See what happens. Um, but I do think it's interesting that like the reason that Cal is able to set this up is because he knows that Adam is not only gonna put the rabbit in there, that Adam is gonna. I keep
Aaron.
calling him Adam. Aaron. We're gonna edit this. We're gonna make
No,
it so I
in
never
all
mess it
in all
up.
my notes, I was accidentally writing Adam instead of Aaron.
Yeah. This is a rude thing to do, is give another four-letter A name for me to
Yeah,
deal with. He knows that Aaron is not only going to get the rabbit, but that he's also going to put a sweet little note in there. Like, Cal knows he's going to do that
hmm
because he knows him so well. He's like, my brother is going to write her a note and want her to read it when she gets home, and I'm going to use that against him. And so it's what's interesting is like he knows how you would like he knows how hypothetically he could be a good person. Like if he was
yeah,
interested in being like Aaron, he could do it because he knows Aaron so well. He could just act like Aaron. Like
hmm
if he still wanted people to like him the way they like Aaron, he could at least imitate the behavior. It's not a foreign concept like the idea of like writing a girl a nice note. Like he
yeah,
also thought of it. But like you said, he's changed what he wants from people, and he no longer wants the affection. He wants the power. He want
hmm
um and so like, he's not of course he's not going to write the note, and not only that, he's going to turn Aaron's note into something bad.
yeah.
So
Cal sucks.
he
I know we
does
get this
suck.
amazing redemption of Adam, and now I'm like, oh, now
Like
another character that,
we've got a new suck in the book. He's here.
yeah,
Ugh, brutal.
brutal, but there it is. Really good chunk of chapters. Each chunk of chapters feels like it's getting better and better.
It is. I think this was. I said chapter 25 was my favorite chapter. This section of 3 chapters was my favorite 3 so far.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
All right, Nate's takes.
Nate's takes. Okay. We'll add a sound effect in post. Okay. So, like I said, my Nate's take is based around Kathy revealing that what she hates, or the contempt that she has, is because everyone's a liar and a hypocrite, and they pretend to be good, and really they're bad. Um, and so yeah, and she just loves to rub people's noses in their own hypocrisy. And I think this is something that like you'll hear this from people. They're like that they'll call other people hypocrites, and there is a part of hypocrisy that is bad. And I'll get into that, but like hypocrisy is just like an intensely human trait. Like if you have any values, if you have any beliefs, if there's a part of you that believes there's a way that people should be, then you're going to fall short of your own values. And
hmm
so like to break it down as simply as possible, like if your belief is that you should be nice to people, and that's your stated belief, like people should be nice to other people, and you tell other people that, and you're the be nice to people guy. At some point in your life, you're gonna not be nice. You're gonna be mean,
Happens.
and that makes you a hypocrite technically, because you're the guy that said you should be nice to people, but you were mean.
Hmm.
And so, from Kathy's perspective and her very cynical perspective, like if someone preaches being nice and then isn't nice sometimes, that means that they're like a liar and a hypocrite. And she basically gave her parents the death penalty for telling her to act a certain way and then being not great sometimes. Like she believes that it's basically her right to kill people, like if they're a
Yeah.
hypocrite. And obviously most people aren't like that, but I do think that you see people kind of hone in on the hypocrisy, or just, I don't know, like I think it's a tough spot for anyone that wants to like put goodness out in the world, and kind of stand on a belief that you should be good and act a certain way, treat people a certain way, that you're gonna fall short of that. And I think it's unfortunate that, well, I don't think it's fair that if you believe in being good and you don't live up to that all the time, that someone like Kathy can label you a horrible hypocrite and justify doing or saying anything to you.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, like the belief along the lines of what Kathy is sharing is that if someone has values and doesn't live up to them, that is worse than having no values and just doing whatever you want.
Hmm. Well said.
And it's just very cynical. And like there is a level, like I said, there is a level of hypocrisy that's bad. Like it usually comes from people that are in power, like the people that she has photographs of. Like I think it is wrong if you're like a minister, like this person that she has pictures of, and then you're in a whorehouse like committing adultery when you're probably up at the front of your congregation, like talking about how wrong that is.
Yeah.
Like that's hypocrisy. Like that's bad hypocrisy. Like that's not good. But like she specifically mentions Samuel Hamilton. She's like, he's a hypocrite and I would have killed him if I got the chance. And it's like, why? Why is he a hypocrite? Because he believed in trying to be a good person and fell short of that sometimes. Like, and I think trying to be good is harder than just doing whatever you want and following your most basic selfish impulse. And I think, for people like Kathy who are selfish and don't even try to be good, that um, for someone that is selfish and doesn't try to be good and just lives their life doing whatever they want, they're bothered when they look at someone like Samuel Hamilton. Like they're threatened and they feel defensive when they see someone like that just does good, and like it makes them feel inadequate. And it's easier to think he must be a hypocrite. It's easier to look at him and see where he falls short and label him a hypocrite and say everyone's as bad as me, than to say like, wow, he really tries to help people and
Mhm.
really takes care of people, and I should be more like that. Like that, seeing someone that's good and saying I should be more like them takes humility, and it's difficult. And it's much
Right.
easier to be like, well, he's not so great all the time, and he actually did this once and it
Yeah.
wasn't good, and
He
so
drinks against his wife's wishes.
yeah, yeah, like so yeah, that's the Nate's take. That and I kind of said this earlier, like it's not a uniquely evil thing to think like this. Like I think a lot of people see goodness in the world or see people trying to be good, and then they want to find the fault with it. Um,
Yeah.
because it's easier for things that are good to actually be kind of bad than for you to try to be better than you are.
Hmm.
Um,
It makes you feel
so
better.
it
Yeah.
makes
By
you it makes
thinking,
you feel better. Yeah,
I'm better than these people because of all these mental hoops I'm jumping through. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And like I'm sure I've thought like that at some point. I'm sure I've seen someone like doing a great job and being more like the person I wish I was, and then found out something about them and been like,
or made up something.
or made up, or just
Just
fantasized
yeah,
like I bet they suck.
yeah.
That's the
Nice
main
neat take.
take. Yeah.
A really good chunk to just
Like,
understand Kathy and like
where I come out as pro hypocrisy.
yeah,
We're okay with it.
we're okay with hypocrisy
We
in doses.
you can do a little hypocrisy.
Yeah, so long as you're striving, so long as you're still facing the right way, you're still heading north.
You're still
You
trying.
you can be a little hypocrite going east and
You can
west
be a
as long
little
as you're going north.
hypocrite. Yeah.
Come
All right. East of Ethan time.
east of Ethan. My east of Ethan isn't as profound as that. I'm more looking at Steinbeck's use of color when he
Mm.
was describing Kate's private room because it seemed to me that he put quite the emphasis on apple green when
Mm.
describing her room. And he's very succinct with words and doesn't seem like he's like super descriptive of things that aren't mountains or soil. And so I thought it's worth
Definitely aren't
investigating
mountain
here
soil.
because in just one paragraph alone, there's three times where he talks about specifically apple green. He says the
Apple
drapes are
green.
apple green. There's apple green accents on a Chinese dragon in her room,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lamp that's green. And so I started to kind of work my mental way through this by thinking of the Queen in Snow White. The potion that she brews the apple with is kind of apple green. And so I was like, okay, well, what other like villains in movies or books have green about them? And so the ones that I could think off the top of my head were the Joker with the green hair, very lime green. There's the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz or Wicked, whichever you prefer. But it turns out maybe she's not so
Mm-hmm.
wicked after all. I don't know. And then and then Voldemort's curse is green. Like just like this Avada Kedavra, that's green there. And of course the Seattle Seahawks with the Legion of
Mm.
Boom, they have some green
Evil.
trims in their jerseys. Very
Yes.
much evil.
Yeah. Not good.
And so I started to look at Disney villains, and turns out there's a bunch of Disney villains and actual discourse online of the green used for Disney villains. There's the flames behind the Queen and Sleeping Beauty, Maleficent, they're apple green. Scar, as he's singing Be Prepared, apple green around him. And Ursula, even in The Little Mermaid, has green moments. I can't remember what the dude's name is in Nightmare Before Christmas because I don't really like that movie, but Oogie Boogie, is that his name?
I never
There's
seen
part that
Nightmare Before Christmas.
it's not great, but he's green. There's parts
He's
where
green.
like there's a green light on him.
Mm.
So it's pretty well known that in at least in Disney villainy movies that this lime green kind of has this connotation with being evil, being wicked. And Steinbeck wrote this, and I think Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty had already come out, those classic cartoon movies, but it just continued forward. And so I came across a really old article published by the University of Michigan that talked about color symbolism for green. And they described
Mm-hmm.
green as dualistic. It can represent life and growth and renewal, but also envy, trickery, and evil. And I thought, yeah, that makes sense. The best villains are the ones that can put up these facades of being great and representative of life. You can grow with me if you're on my side. But deep down, they're sinister and tricking. And there was even a broken URL in this old University of Michigan page that said, see also serpent. And I clicked it, it didn't do anything. But yeah, even when I think of cartoony images of the Adam and Eve story and the snake talking to them, in my mind, the snake is green. So
I think also in the Adam and Eve story, like I think a lot of people assume the fruit is an apple.
also true,
I don't
apple
think that's
green.
it. That's not in the Bible. That it doesn't say the
No,
word apple in the Bible. But I think if you polled like 100 people on the street, like Family Feud style, like
let's see
what was
apple.
the fruit?
Yeah,
Apple's taking home like
100.
95.
Yeah,
Like I don't know what other like I think yeah maybe 100. Like I think most people would say
yeah, good
was an
point.
apple.
There's a reason he was saying apple green.
Because he
So
loves
yeah,
Genesis. We
he
know
does.
he's into it.
So I just thought it was interesting. He pointed it out multiple times in one paragraph, and that other mediums of TV or movies have used green since then. I'm
Mm,
sure we'll continue to see it. And green's my favorite color, and I never thought of it as being this color of evil or trickery.
very
But
solid.
it being in Kate's room, kind of this false sense of youthfulness, vitality, but deep down full of trickery. and maybe some rot too, because like rotten mold, you kind of think of it, she's rotting on the inside. So thought good use of imagery and color symbolism by Steinbeck that I just wanted to hone in on for a bit.
Yeah, I like it, Picasso.
I like Picasso.
Um, that's good. That's good. I'll try to find a color one sometime. I miss out on these details. um, I'm just like, yeah, she's in a green room, whatever. Um,
Okay,
yeah.
Netflix adaptations.
Okay, these are some meaty chapters.
Yep.
That scene where Adam confronts her, like I have no idea what they're gonna put in the rest of this book. Like that feels like it has to be one of the most important scenes in the whole show.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I feel like yeah, that's a crazy scene.
Yeah, my thought was I hope that there's at least an episode of no Kate at all, um, and then we get the episode of the confrontation, just to give us
mhm.
some distance between it. And I hope the episodes maybe come out weekly so that we kind of forget about Kate a little bit, and whenever the audience is just thinking about how pathetic Adam is, and then boom, it just comes in.
I don't know if the rabbit. I mean, I think we'll have to get specifically the rabbit story and maybe this interaction with Abra, depending on how important Abra is. Like, I can't tell if Abra's really important and like that's going to be central is like Aaron and Abra together,
Hmm.
or if she was just like a vehicle for this one chapter to show off how evil Cal is, and now we'll never see her again.
Hmm.
Um, so if Abra is important, like that's an important scene. If not, I think we get maybe the rabbit scene, and you kind of get a sense for how Cal rubs on Aaron.
Yeah,
I said Adam again, didn't I? Um, I'm completely lost. They've got me in the spin cycle here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did some research a little bit more
Mm,
on what's planned for the Netflix show, and I
okay.
learned something interesting. I've been saying 8 episodes. It's seven. It's 7 episodes.
It's even less.
Less
How are they going to fill
episodes.
this in there?
And so there's two directors. The first director will be episodes 1 through 4. His name's Garth Davis. And then the second director will do episodes 5 through 7. And I thought that was
Oh,
interesting to note. And so it makes me think there's going to be some aesthetic differences between episodes 5 and 7 and 1 through 4. And I think that 1 through 4 will probably be mainly the Trask growing up and Kathy. And then 5 through 7 is probably this new generation of Cal and Aaron in this back half of the book. And so I've only seen one thing ever by one of these directors. I haven't seen anything by the one who does episodes 5 through 7. Her name is she's French, Laura de Clermont Tonnery. Never saw anything by her, but I watched a movie by Garth Davis just this last year, and it was okay.
what
But
movie?
it was called Foe. Yeah, Saoirse Ronan and the other Irish guy that's the heartthrob right now.
Paul Mescal?
Yep, yep,
Oh, nailed it just based off the ethnicity.
yeah. And so it was all right. Nothing stood
Because
out to me there,
I'm
but
a little Irish too, so
hey,
I'm connected.
yeah,
We can sense.
you
Uh,
can tell when there's a fellow Irishman.
yeah, yeah. When you mix some Irish with you know what? Never mind. I'm done with this sentence.
Garth, episodes 1 through 4, he's really good at sweeping cinematic scope and
Mm,
painterly cinematography, which makes sense if we're going to get a lot of the Salinas Valley and
the soil.
the soil of Vermont. He's in the road gang, and he loves themes of searching for home, purpose, and connection. The second director, the French woman, she's apparently really good at drawing nuanced performances from her actors and lets internal struggle take center stage. So she loves resonant films that elevate introspection over exposition and gives voice to those in society who are overlooked or confined, like Steinbeck does with the working class. So could be a reason there, but maybe just a teaser as to how they'll look, how the episodes will feel.
Yeah. That's interesting. Ah.
Not the shot collar.
Not the shotgun. Yeah. 7 episodes. What are they gonna
I
do?
know. So We'll see. I
Yeah.
hope they got to be at least an hour, at least. Hoping for an hour 20 out of each one. But all right,
All right.
Steinbeck stats.
Steinbeck Stats. Let's do it. This is my favorite
Okay,
part.
so Steinbeck stats. Want to talk a little bit about Steinbeck's influence from Hemingway. He was greatly influenced by Ernest Hemingway, and I haven't read much Hemingway, so I had to do some research on what actual literary scholars think about Hemingway. But what I saw a lot of was Hemingway is kind of like the Beatles for literature, where the Beatles
Mm-hmm.
revolutionized songwriting and sonic elements of music. Hemingway, he was revolutionary in that he stripped the writing down to its bones. Very short sentences, plain language, minimalistic, no fluff. That became like this new standard of excellence. He also wrote very masculine stories, people marginalized on society. And so that's how Hemingway brought about fiction. He said, you can actually do more with fiction by saying less.
Mm-hmm.
So he called this the iceberg theory, where the writer should reveal just a small portion of the story that kind of sits at the surface level and then only implies everything underneath. So Steinbeck felt that, and throughout his journal, he constantly references how much he wants ECV to be simple and easy to understand, especially for his boys. And that feels a lot like Hemingway. His influence is right there. And I think that Steinbeck took this idea and made it his own, like all great authors do. There's a quote by a literary critic, Harold Bloom, where he says, great writers don't exist in a vacuum. They absorb what came before, then transform it. And so I think that Steinbeck took Hemingway's skeleton of this bare bone minimalistic, and he's the one that added warmth and color and quirky characters. He's still very succinct and precise with what he says, but the characters in this novel feel very much alive. And I think with this humor and these small human details, Steinbeck adds a little bit to Hemingway's legacy. But I'll probably need to read more Hemingway before I say this. But I think that's what makes Steinbeck the great American author. Is he took this great part of what Hemingway did and made it his own. And when, in regards to the iceberg theory that Hemingway was famous for, I think that Steinbeck kind of reversed it a little bit because there's very much things that he wants known. I don't think he's putting it right on the surface. Like this is the universal story. Here's Cain and Abel. I'm going to tell you multiple times. But it's much smaller things of the story that he hints at. Whereas Hemingway, it seems like to hint at the much grander elements of the story. Steinbeck was like, I'm going to tell you the actual meat of it, and you can find all the Easter eggs under it. So to end the Steinbeck stats, here's a quote that he said to his editor. I'm pretty sure you sense these things, but I draw them to your attention anyway. He knows people are picking up on it, but he just wants to make sure that they're there, they're written. So
Yeah, I was gonna say like there's definitely moments where like you're reading it and I'm like, I feel like I'm picking up on this. And then he
mhm.
just like says it the next page and you're like, right on, brother. Like
Yeah,
thank you for clarifying that. Like
yeah,
um so it's an interesting thing, like because he doesn't lay it out and then explain it. He kind of like leaves all these breadcrumbs, and then he comes out and just says it.
here's the
Uh,
love. Yep.
and so I think you could almost argue that like maybe the editor was like, hey, you maybe don't need to explain all this. Like you've done a pretty good job laying the groundwork for people to arrive at the conclusion. And he's like, I actually just want it. I actually just want it on the record that this is what I think.
Hmm. I
So
don't want any confusion. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like yeah, like he.
So you can be confused about who shot the rabbit, but I don't want you confused about Kathy's actual motives.
Yeah, like by the way, this is what she was upset about.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know. Yeah,
Yep.
there are things he definitely wants you to know, and he lets you know.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
so
Prediction
yes.
time.
All
Prediction
right.
time.
Let me open
So yeah,
the
you got the Cal's secret is he knows about Kathy. I
book.
put that in orange just because she's alive,
You're
but you don't
right.
know where
You're
she
right.
is.
Because part of that
But
prediction was I thought that he knew she was running a
mhm.
whorehouse. So I only get half. I kind of fist pumped that one.
I'll still
You are
give it.
correct.
I'll still
Um,
give you credit. All right. What you got
no,
for?
Um. Okay. So, um, I'm gonna go with this. This is kind of a big swing. I'm
Okay.
gonna go with the Bacons. At least the husband, but also possibly the mother, are patrons of Kate's,
Oh.
and she is blackmailing them and tells them that she needs them to go and check in on Adam and the boys and report back what is going on. And she's got some sort of plan to ruin their lives. And that's the beginning of it, is that she's got the Bacons in her pocket.
Okay.
Um,
Nice. That's a great prediction.
all right, feeling good about it. That's the main one. I think Charles is coming back. I think we're gonna see him. Please, Charles, come
Okay.
back. I didn't even like Charles.
Yeah.
And then kind of in that same vein of the Bacons being kind of important, because I said I don't know if they are, but we're gonna go with Aaron. Maybe we get a time jump, and we get Aaron and Abra together.
Okay. Go
And that
predictions.
those are my predictions.
Those
Yes,
feel solid. Those feel good.
taking a big swing on the Bacons. If I get that right, I'm gonna feel like I'm really onto something here.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, if not, I'm gonna feel like I'm lost, as I have felt with most of these predictions. So
It's an
just
unpredictable book.
just swinging and missing all day.
Yeah. I wouldn't consider this
Um,
book like super twisty in its plot either, but it is very hard to pin down where it's going.
yeah, like the time jumps help with that. It's like you're like, oh wow, what's gonna happen the next day? And they're like, and 11 years passed, and you're like, oh well,
Okay.
okay, all right.
Alrighty. Well, any final words for our listeners?
I do have one final word. It's gonna be boys because it comes at the end of "Never fly uphill, me boys." Is that how I ended last time?